Davenport, Iowa, where it all started. They thought he was nuts. It's not inherited genetics. Throw that out. Go home and spit that out. It's not genetics. And you know, that should be freeing to you, because my dad died when he was 50 of heart disease. My grandparents, I don't even know how long they lived. My grandmother died when I was a little kid. My genetics stink. When I learned this, I was like, yeah, I'm not susceptible to all the cancer and disease that my family had. It's what I do. So whether obesity, disease, behavior, or even your talents, it's not necessarily inherited genetically from your parents. But listen to this, and I've said this for years, but rather taught by your parents, peers, and teachers. So if your mom and dad ate, pork sandwiches for breakfast, you might be eating pork sandwiches for breakfast. And then your mom and dad had heart disease, you have heart disease, and you say it's genetics. No, it's the pork sandwiches for breakfast that are good. So it's a taught, it's a taught behavior. 25%. Can you grab a glass? We'll get you a glass of water. You must change your thoughts, behavior, and patterns of daily living. You must learn to deal with stress properly. So this is a huge thing. You've got to get it in your head, like what D.D. Palmer says, perceive it. You've got to get it in your head that this isn't bad. Speak positively to yourself. And the Bible says life and death is in the power of the tongue. Life and death. You can speak life to something, you can speak death to something. Lindsay, if every time you came in I said, oh, Lindsay, you're horrible, you're never going to get better, you're sick, I don't think I can help you. You're going to leave depressed and be like, I guess I'm doomed to die. That's why we don't talk that way. And that's where if you talk that way, I'll say, stop it. I can't take it. Don't talk. Because you're inflicting yourself with that. This is how the brain works. Remember how it said, whether real or imagined? Your brain is taking in messages. So if you say to your brain, I've read this over and over, and this is, don't take this to where this is all. You just sit and go, I'm going to be healthy. That's a bunch of bunk. And then you'll hear people say that. They'll sit and they'll meditate and they're like, I'm going to be financially well. There's money in my wallet. If you're a kook, you have to go out and work to get money. Money's not going to float down in your wallet. But you have to think positive. So you have to say to yourself, Lord, I'm going to be well. I'm going to be well. And you'll hear me. You'll say, like some people say, I'm still hurting. I'm like, you're going to be well. Don't I say that to you every time? And I try, and you did better today. You're going to be well. And you got to keep telling yourself, I'm going to be well. I'm going to be well, because your brain picks that up and it responds to exactly what it hears and what you tell it. Isn't that amazing? Your brain's just a computer. If you program in Microsoft Word 2010 in my computer, and there's a new version out, and the new version is better, my computer won't use the new version, because it's not loaded in yet. It will use this version. If this version stinks and it keeps blowing up on me, that's what I'm stuck with. I have to get the new version loaded in. You have to load those thoughts into your mind. You have to tell yourself over and over, I'm going to be well. You know what? This is good. Use positive words. If you say, I'm not going to be sick, do you think that's good or bad?
Bad.
Why?
Because your brain hears sick.
Your brain hears, and the not going stuff is not sick. I'm sick. Going, I'm sick. Your body says, well, if you're sick, then we're going to make you throw up and get sick. And you'll go to bed. And your body's, and that's where all that, your hormone levels all respond to how your brain is being told. Is that amazing or what? God made an amazing body. We just have to learn how to use it properly and not mess it up. Okay. Is there anything beyond that before we go on? That's it. You don't want to you have to tell yourself that. You have to keep saying to yourself, you know what? Bertie, you do a great job at this. You're always saying, I'm healthy. And she comes in limping her back. Hurts. I'm good. I'm like, that's it. And you know what? You have really incredible health. You've been banged up some. But, when you keep saying it, your body responds and lifts itself up and stays healthy. Can you relate to that? Anyone have an experience like that? So, it's part of it. That's why with kids, it's nice seeing kids, and we're telling kids, when my kids say, remember little Sydney, she's 8, she says, Dad, I can't do that. I'm like, what? You what? She's like, I can't do it. I'm like, no, we don't use that word in our house. And she's like, I'm like, you can do it. I said, with Christ we can do all things. Because it says in the Bible we can do all things, and we can do a lot more. Don't say can't. I'm like, it's an amazing. We never know how much we can get out of life. I think we're all way far of what we're designed to be. I think spiritually, emotionally, physically, jobs, whatever we're doing, I think we could do a heck of a lot more. And that's where I'm never satisfied. I try to get rest and try not to kill myself with saying, I got to...
Or your staff.
Yeah, or saying, you know what, I have high expectations for you guys because I want you to be well and coming in and going, yeah, I feel great. And Catherine's diving on the table and she's scooting out. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I want. And I expect that out of me and I expect that out of my kids too. Okay.
Who adjusts you?
I have a couple chiropractors in Greensburg, and every time we're at a seminar, I'm like, guys, adjust me, adjust me. We get a lot of seminars. So I get adjusted at least every week. I've done that for years and years. I've been adjusted for about 20 years.
So maybe Wendy adjusts.
Oh, I wish.
Not chiropractic adjustment.
She puts me in my place again.
He gives him mental adjustment.
Okay, so now all that shows how bad stress is, and we have to learn how to fix it, right? So now we need to have steps to eliminate stress. And we're going to go through a few things, and this could take, and we have a bunch of seminars next year. I'll explain how we're going to take each piece and start breaking them down, and we have a whole 6-week program. We have a lot of stuff coming, but I'm going to give you some tidbits tonight you can grab on. Just this, you start doing this and start speaking it positively, you'll start to feel better already. And then when you speak, this is what happens too. When you speak positively about goal setting or anything, you say, you know what? I'm going to feel better. I'm going to feel better. I feel great. I feel great. Your body starts to say, all right, well, if you feel so great, we got to come up with some ideas how to feel great. And then you're like, you know what, I should join a gym. Your body starts to respond to how you're programming it. So then, because we'll sit in our meetings, we'll say things like, okay, how do we help more people? How do we get this message out to more people? Because, and this is packed, so give yourself a hand. This is awesome. You guys are here learning. But you know how many people need to hear this? Oh, man, it's everyone. You know how many people are one day away from taking another antidepressant? Or taking more and then becoming suicidal because of these drugs? I mean, people are sick and dying all around us. And our heart goes out. It's like, oh, we get to more people. We do that. That's why we come up with new ideas. We're always telling you, hey, tell your friends, do this. Because there's people out there sick, hurting, and dying, don't even know they're going down that path. Chiropractic adjustments and proper spinal alignment. Why? What controls the hypothalamus? What controls your human growth hormone, your adrenal glands, and interprets perception? It's your nerve system, your brain and nerve system. So when you get adjusted, your brain, that's your master controller, is up here. If your spine is out of position, even if it's out of position one little fraction and then nerves being choked off, there's discommunication up to your brain. So it can't perceive things properly. All right? So if your spine is out of alignment, your body, hypothalamus, your HGH, your adrenal gland, everything is not working properly. Does that make sense? So when we realign that, we give an adjustment, boom, explosive energy goes through your body. You may have felt it. If you've gotten adjusted, I've had them where I've gotten adjusted, like, wow, holy cow, I can take on the world. My energy like went through the roof. We've had people, Joe, you're starting to fall asleep. I'm out of conscience. When Joe gets adjusted, she has trifocals, right? So I adjust her, do some real light adjustments on her. I remember one day I adjust her. She gets up, she puts her glasses on. She goes, can this affect vision? So I'm going through my teaching mode. Oh yeah, it can affect because the nerves in there go up into your eyes. When you take pressure off the nerves, and I'm like, stop. I said, why do you ask? She goes, well, every time you adjust me, for about like 20 or 30 seconds, somewhere, she can see. She can see. You can see clear.
I had perfect vision without my trifocal for about 30 seconds.
Is that amazing? And then it fades, and she's like,
yep.
And she said to me, when is this going to hold? I said, no, I think you're 39, right? You've had this for several years, many, many years. So, and it's in a process of regeneration and healing. And wasn't it the last 1 or 2 times that you haven't needed a stronger lens?
Right.
And that's,
when I go back, yeah.
And usually it's every year that you need a stronger lens.
Always worse. Always a stronger prescription.
Wow.
Last 2 times, I should say.
That's amazing. So every adjustment, boom, So can your body heal? Absolutely. Is this important? Unbelievably important, because every time you get adjusted, now your body's perception of stress, whether it's emotional, chemical, financial, anything, now you have the position to take it in better. If your body's like this, your body can't even take it in. You take it in, you have the flu and you're sick and you're laying in bed.